What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jennison, with my lovely wife,
Kendra Jennison.
And today we're going to talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
So it's going to be a couple different things, right? Not so much about like the intimacy of our relationship, but the importance of connection, sex, from a business standpoint. I guess we can kind of take it whichever way you want.
Okay.
But what I wanted to talk about was me and the evolution of me and what it takes. Like, there's guys out there that are in sexless marriages, loveless marriages, right?
Yes,
they're in these sexless fucking marriages. They're on a quest for sex. They get up every day. They want it. They've completely destroyed the trust in their relationships. They've let their significant others down. I mean, as a woman on that point, like, I can completely understand why they wouldn't want to have anything to do with a guy, right?
Yeah, I agree with.
What are your thoughts?
I'm really excited to have this conversation. So, first of all, let's talk about. We don't have to go into details about anything. Obviously, that's not what we're here for. But
I'll go into details. Let's just be honest. I'll give you the best 13 seconds of your life. Maybe cumulatively over time, we're up to like 3 minutes a year.
Let me talk about from my point of view on why I will literally have sex with you at any given moment, whenever you want, realistically,
including before we came here,
Yes, that is 100% true. I think it's really, really important for the gentleman listening to this to understand that the reason it is so easy for me to want to drop whatever I'm doing. Yes, I enjoy it, but I understand, like, whenever you want it, I will give it to you. And that is because how do I say this? It's so easy to have sex with you whenever you want because you don't do things for me. Let's just say, like, a gentleman will do something and he'll be like, well, now my wife should have sex with me. Like, it's expected. Like, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. It's expected. You don't ever live your life like, I'm doing this so that maybe my wife will want to have sex with me. There isn't that. You do this because you genuinely want to be a greater, better man, whatever you're working towards. Right. Everything you do is for yourself. And I mean that in the best way. Yes, you do tons of things for your family, but I'm talking about your self-development, the way you work, the way you hustle. You don't do that to expect something at the end of the day from me, right? You do this because you're like, this is genuinely who I am. I'm a hardworking man. I'm going to give it everything I got. I'm putting in the hours. I'm putting in the work. I'm going to fucking hustle. And I am so attracted to that I know it recharges you, first of all. So whenever you are, like, laying in bed or want to initiate something or we're in the bathroom or whatever, I literally love to give that to you because I'm like, damn, this man deserves it. What does he want me to do? Whenever he wants me to drop trow, hey, I'm going to give it to him.
Panty splash it all over.
Panty splash mountain over here right now. But I think it's really important for gentlemen to go into something, to understand that don't ever go into expecting sex or initiating something or thinking that because maybe you've been working on yourself for 2 weeks, your wife should applaud you and pat you on the back and then drop her panties. That's not how it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and in those 2 weeks, they don't say anything. They do the job. They expect it to be noticed. They don't put any attention and love into the woman, but they come home and say, I am man, hear me roar. Come fuck me.
Yes, and it doesn't. Oh my goodness. You said it better than I did, I guess, from a man's standpoint, because I don't necessarily have like that understanding of that mentality. But from my side, I get so attracted when I see how hard you are working and that you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it to be like, oh, I'm going to do this so my wife wants to have sex with me. You do it unintentionally and it makes me want to have sex with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Like even down to like date night.
Yes.
Like, I mean, more often than not, when we go on date nights, we end up having sex. I mean, unless I eat like entirely too much ice cream or something. But like the reality is, like, it's not an it's not an expectancy, right? Expectation of coming out. Like the expectation of date night is to connect and be on date night and talk about something other than the fact that I'm trying to change the world and my business is stressful and fucking life is hard. It's about taking an hour of connecting and knowing what's going on in Kendra's life. Because the truth is, and this is a message for the dudes out there, man, 90% of our time is built, especially like the audience and the core dudes that really resonate with me. Like 90% of my time and their time, if you're being straight fucking honest, is in building your business.
Yes.
Right? Maybe even 95, maybe 98. Right? I mean, I don't know, but I know that for me, there's not a second. There's only a couple times throughout the day that I'm not focused on my company. I'm not focused on the growth. I'm not focused on the comeback. Right. That is when we are having sex, 13 seconds, or when I fully make a conscious effort to be all in with the kids. Right. And those little fuckers annoy me sometimes, right? So even though I love them to death, and sometimes it's hard to be there because they kick you out and you get into this, well, I could be thinking about, you don't do that to me. But those are the only 2 times that I'm actually fully not focused on my business. Now, what I wanted to talk about from my side, and we'll get back into, because there's a lot of good information here, is I know, so you said recharge. It's not just a recharge. It can be when I'm down, right? When I have a bad day.
Yes. Yeah.
Every 3 or 4 days, it gets too fucking far. I'll be telling you that I haven't had sex with you in a month.
Literally, right? If we don't have sex for 2 days, he's like, it's been 6 years since you've ever touched me. What's going on?
But it feels like 6 years because it's an eternity. Because why? As a driven man, a producer who's going out to create something massive for himself, like the primal fucking aggressor inside of me, like every second is like a decade.
Right.
Right? Every second, every decision, the intensity that I live with. And I know that there's guys out there that feel the same way, but let's just be honest, you're too much of a fucking pussy to admit it. Right? So you come home and you expect your wife just to be there wanting you, but you have done nothing for her. Now, my life and the way that I live for me is like, I don't do the things for you, right? Most of my time is for everybody else. Like we're going to talk about that in the next podcast. We're going to do right here about how I've given and shot holes in myself and given everybody everything. But at the end of the day or the beginning of the morning, whichever way you want to put it, I get up every fucking day to go out. Like I get the shit kicked out of me. You watch me I can go to bed completely beat down, hair sideways. Maybe, we have sex, whatever. I wake up in the morning and I'm fucking recharged. And I go and I take an ass whooping again. And I take an ass whooping again. I take an ass whooping again. But I never expect it from you. It's not like part of my routine. Like, oh, well, I'm going to get this ass whooping. I'm going to go and I'm going to fucking go home and beat cheeks on my wife.
And that's what I really, really think is so important for these gentlemen to understand. Like, you don't go do something so that way you can have your wife look at your wife and be like, hey, look at me. I'm being a good boy. Now, don't you want to have sex with me? That is so unattractive, right? No, you're doing it because this is what a man is supposed to do. Your wife wants to fuck a man. She doesn't want to fuck the little boy who's looking for approval. And I just feel like that's so important for these gentlemen to understand.
And then they find, like, I don't know because I'm not this guy, but I listen to friends of mine that have podcasts on this, and guys are influencers and big dudes, but begging, right? They find themselves begging for sex. They're doing all these things, but they're avoiding the connection piece with their wife, which has to be unattractive, I would imagine, right? If you,
from personally speaking, for me, extremely unattractive.
Like, I don't know that women beg dudes for sex. I don't think it works that way. But like, if you were begging me every day for some, a new purse, I'd be like, no, I'm not going to.
This is very unattractive.
This is fucking, you're a beggar, right?
Right.
My dog begs.
Right, exactly. And I think I couldn't agree more with that statement right there, that begging is very, very unattractive. And in a true manly man who is doing what he has to do to protect his family, to provide for his family, isn't a beggar by any means. He's like, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing big shit. And to the right female, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, let me have this incredibly manly warrior like inside of me all the time, because it's that attractive. You know what I mean? Like I have that. I just think so many gentlemen miss that portion because they haven't had sex for so long. They're like, okay, I'm gonna do this because it's gonna make my wife happy. Stop thinking that. Stop doing that. Do it because it's gonna make you happy. And when you're happy, your wife will be happy.
Well, there's another side of it too that we don't talk about, which is they give up even trying to like take it to their wives, so they fucking find themselves jerking off.
I think
pornography.
Yes. I was going to say, this is also a really, really important piece, like for a female woman's perspective, wife perspective. Some guys might not want to have sex with their wife because she is overweight. She's let herself go. She's negative as hell, right? Like, think about how
I think a lot of the guys that I know that I've had this conversation with, they can deal with the overweight because we all get older, right? Like older, it's harder.
I don't think that's an excuse, but it does happen.
But
yes.
it does. I mean,
you're right.
It happens. Life happens.
Yes,
it is. It's an excuse, but it's a reality.
It is.
Right? So, but what I'm saying is the guys can overlook that. What they can't overlook is the fucking constant negativity and nagging.
And so I really, for the wives to listen to this, if your husband is very specifically taking charge and control of his life and is making changes in his life for the better, is becoming this great man, is putting in the work and is doing it for himself and is really done a 180, don't be that negative Nancy that is literally just clinging on to him putting his shorts in the corner of the bedroom. Like,
yo, that's my corner.
That is your corner.
My shit.
But honestly, think about your man is 80% of the time being amazing and fantastic and doing things to be a man and a leader, and you're gonna nag on the 20%. I'm sorry, would you want to have sex with somebody like that? No, you would not. So it's really important for the wives to be like, okay, listen, I'm going to focus on what he's doing that's really awesome. Hey, I noticed that you're changing. And give him like that positive reinforcement, that positive affirmations, like, you are fucking killing life right now. I'm really proud of you. This is making me really attracted to you. Like, have those conversations, because I think so many wives,
I mean, you're right.
after so much hurt, can really focus on like the negative. You know,
it boils down to what you were saying inside of that is everything we talk about, which is communication.
Right?
And there's a lot of stuff. Like, I hope that we're talking to a wide array of people, right? I mean, I think quite a few people that hear this thing. But I always think about it. It's the guys that are trying to patch their relationship back together who have stepped out, or the wife has stepped out, and it's been rocky, right?
Sure.
But they chose
to stay.
CHOSE. You fucking chose to be till death do you part, regardless of what happened. You move forward together in a day, but you stay stuck. Your mind stays stuck.
Sure.
And that causes a separation that we call it the gap of creation in a man, but it actually creates the gap of frustration in a relationship. It's like you cross that bridge together, you cross the bridge together holding hands, but the reality is you left your hearts back on the other side, right? Wow. And with your heart is you forgot to fucking bring the connection, the communication, the love, the intimacy, the self-respect, the dignity, and you're saying you're going to work on it. And really what you're doing is you're making a relationship salvageable for the fucking kids more often than not.
Right.
And you're too afraid to walk away because money, right?
And the kids.
Money, the kids, the house. So you're going to suffer. When the reality is you made a choice. Why not go all in on the fucking choice?
Right.
It's interesting as I say this because I can see so many men that I had conversations with inside of the comeback who like, and you know, I don't call anybody out, but like, I'm big on a choice, right? I mean, we're talking about the next podcast, like choices I made today, but like, I don't understand as a man or a woman that once you made a choice to yourself, how do you not be committed to it? And if you're not committed, why did you even make the fucking choice? And people overcomplicate that thing, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch, actually.
Sure, yeah, and frustrating to probably somewhat coach it to a point, and then have them say, okay. And yet still fail to execute on that properly. Yeah,
and like what people don't understand is choice is actually freedom, and freedom is a mindset, right? Freedom is how you create and control your life. By making routine choices day in and day out, the mundane choices to make sure you're committed to a relationship, you talk and communicate and all the things that goes on. But if you made like one big decision because your life was fucking rocky or whatever, and you don't stay committed to that choice, you're just wasting your existence. And this is not even about sex, just as an individual, right? We went into a complete different
It could go, yeah, well, that could be fit into anything with what you just said right there. Yeah. I also want to touch base on from a female perspective, like leaning back and towards the sex thing, because I think a lot of people are going to like this podcast in terms of like, we're giving really solid like advice here on how to be able to rekindle have a sex in your marriage. At least I think.
And you can go have the floor back, right? But
yeah.
Like also other times I'll straight up like ask, even if you're not in the mood, like, yo, like I need to get laid.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I'll say that.
And I gotta be honest, there is, if I'm not trying to have sex with my husband literally all day long, He's like, well, what's up? What's up with me? What's up? You don't love me anymore? You don't want to have sex? Like, what, am I fucking disgusting? And I'm like, now that's just him.
I just joke with you, but I mean, but
realistically, when you want it, and I'm not like my husband, right? Like I'm not trying to jump his bones every literally 15 seconds, no matter how absolutely sexy I think you are and how much I enjoy having sex with you. I'm still not trying to do that, but he is. And there's often times where he's just like, hey, listen, can we, let's just go do this right now. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I don't think I've ever said no.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I think maybe 2 or 3 times, but you were like sick, very, very sick or something.
I was probably like deathly sick. And actually, I think another time I was dead ass sleeping and you tried to wake me up.
I woke you up in the middle of the night or something. I was like, yo, I'm having this dream. I got to fuck.
I was like,
Which brings me to something that like that I actually want to drive home. I don't know if you have thoughts on this, but like, I straight up like never be jerking off in this relationship. Why would I have to be jerking off when I have a wife at home? If I have a wife at home that's willing to have sex with me whenever I want, like if I can't go 2-3 days, but like I have no self-control over this, and then I'm going to run to pornography, because to me that is just cheating. Why would I want to fantasize look at
Beating's
other people?
Cheating.
Right, beating's cheating. That's the ad I want to make for Pornhub. But that to me, because I do live with such honesty and integrity, I think you throw it out the window if you're a man, especially if you're living this comeback lifestyle where you find yourself looking. If I literally live by stop fucking lying and I'm trying to go all in on my relationship with my wife, and then I have fucking Hustler magazine or Playboy or porn, I don't even know what people watch anymore, but like, 80 and still banging, and like whatever these people are watching and doing, all you're really doing is giving a piece of you to somebody else. Like everything I do is so intentional about it. Right.
I love that. I agree with that.
It doesn't make sense to me. Right. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I hold in such high regard my relationship with you and what I've created that I don't want to fuck it up. And if I can't because to me, what happens after that, you might as well just cheat.
And let me just tie this in while we're like on this like porn situation. I never would have thought to bring that topic up, but I know it's really, really prevalent in with a lot of the gentlemen that you talk to. I do think that a lot of guys are going to find a lot of resentment from their wives when they have watched porn. And essentially, if I'm correct, and I've never seen like a full porn video, but they treat those women in porn videos like whores.
I was going to bring that up next.
And so then this guy gets these really fucked up, like false. He's going to take his, oh yeah, this is awesome. I'm going to go try this with my wife. And then you're treating your wife like a porn whore. Do you think that she is going to appreciate that and want to have sex with you? Well, absolutely not.
The truth is most dudes can't do it anyways. So, right?
I mean, I'm all for like some kinky and some fun and some stuff like that. But when you have those expectations of like, oh yeah, I'm just going to like do all this.
I'm gonna get a baseball bat and shove it up your asshole.
I don't even know how to like say it out loud. But all these like
I will say whatever
whore nasty things to your wife, she's gonna be like, what the I don't want to be treated this way. I want to be treated with love, and I want to have fun, and I want to feel connection, and I want to feel good. You're literally making me feel like a cheap motel whore. And I'm pretty sure that's because you got some raunchy ideas from some porn films that you've been beating it to. That is not reality at all. Yeah, for most people, I should say.
There's good memes out there like porn's not real and stuff like that. But I was gonna bring that up, and it's not even about. I don't care how people, how kinky they are, what fetishes they have, or if they want to dress up as furries and fucking rub all over each other, and squirt fucking
pandas
ketchup,
banging, right?
Squirt ketchup all over each other's fucking dicks, and then slap you in the forehead. Like I don't care what you do, but I do know this, that when something truly matters to you, treat it with respect, love, and appreciation. And not that like by no means is like, oh, I'm just nailing you missionary style. That's not like how our sex life is. But I'm not going to the point where like, and I'm a fucking big old aggressive, angry individual. Like,
but I will say with a huge reason why I truly love and enjoy having sex with you, you quite literally worship me, my body, every touch, even if it is a little bit more of like an aggressive, intimate time. It's like I feel worshipped. I feel loved. I feel like I am the only woman in the world that has your eyes.
Yeah. I mean,
you make me feel that way. So of course, then I feel empowered. Then what do I want to do? I want to make you feel that way. So what am I going to do? Right? Like it's a very reciprocated thing.
I live in the same distracted world as every other man. right?
Of course.
I get marketed to, I see the same, like I choose not to see the same shit, but when
It's
you say
out
that
there.
about having eyes, it's like my eyes are for my wife and for my family. And if the queen, like I've said this to many dudes that enroll in my program, like you're the queen of the kingdom. Without you, I'd be fucked. You hold the keys, and without the keys, it's going to fucking come crumbling down. And I'm not willing to have my castle come crumbling down because I fucking looked at another woman or I treated you the way that I don't see myself treating you. And then even to the point where, not that I'm thinking about it, but having now 2 daughters and a son, like how do I fucking make every action? I believe so fucking intrinsically that the things that I think get transmuted into my kids because of the energy that I put out on a daily fucking basis. Right? That is how fucking severe I am on the way that I treat you. And I know that maybe some people can't do that. Some men can't do that. And my advice to them, or I think they're just weak as fuck. You might want to use that for a clip on something.
Honestly, that was very good. And I agree with that. And also from a woman's perspective, because so many women, and this is going to be a hard pill for a lot of women to swallow, don't deserve to be worshipped. And I mean that, I don't mean that, I don't mean that in the sense that you're not lovable, that you're not worthy, but your actions, how you care about yourself, your self-love for yourself, how you treat, are you negative? It's like, now, does that deserve to, do you think that any man is going to want to be like, oh yes, I'm so lucky and grateful to have a negative wife who just is upset and crying and a slob and just eats like, and I know that's like kind of hard to say, but that's a hard pill for women to swallow. Why doesn't my husband want to make love to me? He finds me unattractive. You find yourself unattractive. You find yourself falling into these like vicious victim mentalities. It's hard to pull yourself out of, and it takes work and it takes a lot of self-awareness on like, okay, wow, I'm falling into this. But once you, much like you expect your husband to do, you need to also do things for yourself. You need to take care of yours. You need to make sure that you're doing things for yourself, because then guess what? Your husband's going to look at you and he's going to be like, dang, I see my wife putting in this effort. She deserves to be worshipped. I only got eyes for this woman. Yep. And that doesn't go away.
Yeah, because love truly is a strong thing, right? Like in love, when you see someone actually trying to work on themselves, it's very attractive.
It's so attractive.
When you were talking, I was thinking about like, this is not something that just happens overnight for these people to get to this spot, right?
Right.
They gave up on each other a long time ago. The good news is when you realize the fact that you're done digging, you can start building. And I tell the men this all the time.
I love
when
that.
are you going to
Absolutely.
be done fucking digging? Stop digging and start building.
Stop
Some people
digging.
just need to like stop being so excited and just enthralled with the darkness. Right?
So many people find so much comfort in that like disgusting pit of loneliness, and they're just like, oh, this is where I'm at. And it's like, just stop digging, put down the freaking shovel, right? Mm-hmm. Start building, make the choice today, right now. I'm going to start doing better for me. Yep. If you truly are choosing to make it work, stop digging. Start going all in for yourself first. Start putting in the work. Start going to the gym. Start speaking positive things. Start speaking positive things into your partner. And guess what? I guarantee you, if he notices that, or if she notices that, it's going to be a 180 in your relationship.
It's not if, it's when, right?
It's not if, it's when. 100%. Yeah.
And people, what I've learned about people, man or woman, is that they'll get so close to getting what they want, and then they stop, right? And then they feel like it's hard and they fail, like, because it gets difficult. The closer you get to the goal that you want, it gets a little bit harder.
Sure.
It gets a little more uncomfortable,
yep.
Right? You start having to ask tougher questions, do different things, take different actions.
Start having to look at yourself a little differently.
And it's in everything. It's yourself, it's your relationship, it's your business, it's your friendships, it's your kids. It's just, you're looking at your life and you're like, damn, do I really want this?
Right.
And the question is to the people, or not the question is, like, the truth is, like, do you really want this?
That should honestly be the first question that they ask themselves before they even try to like.
But it's not.
For the person like in a sexless or loveless, I guess, is this what you want?
I don't think it is. I think what it is they're looking to repair something that they have no clue how to repair, and they want to get back to what they had or what they always wanted at that point. So they're looking to erase the pain.
Sure.
Without doing anything about the pain.
Yeah.
So somehow in their minds, at least
just
from
ignoring
a dude,
it, right?
Right. Yeah. I can just ignore this, but how do I get back here if I don't do any work?
Doesn't work that way. Yeah.
Right. So, Yeah, I mean, that's about what I wanted to wrap up. I think you nailed it perfectly. Stop digging and start building is the reality of it. And, if you're a dude listening to this thing that really wants to have, I always like to play the other side of it too. Like, you don't have to be in the relationship you're in.
Absolutely.
You don't have to.
And that's another really hard pill for some people to swallow. You don't have to stay in it.
There's no
Not
law.
all relationships are worth rekindling and working out. It's just the truth.
There's no law that's just like, you need to be in this one forever, right? It's
not that way.
I mean, I guess people could say, yeah, but we got till death do us part and we signed a paper and I take religion seriously. You take religion seriously as you're cheating and beating, overeating and fucking drinking like a pig? You don't take 100%. Shit seriously.
100%.
Right? And so that giving yourself the freedom to be and create what you want. I look at our relationship. You know this, right? My greatest accomplishment was I'm not a cheater to you, and I can look you dead in the eye and say I've never cheated. I've never even had an inkling of cheating. I've went the exact opposite way, but I was a habitual serial cheater, emotionally, right? Not all have to be physically, but I was like craving shit from other women, and like there was a reason for that because they didn't have my heart. They weren't the right ones for me, and I was hurt, right? So of course, if I'm a hurt person, I want to hurt more people. Was the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
Like. I made decisions because I don't even know if I ever told this, but I got my heart broke at 19. So I set out.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah. So I set out to hurt every other fucking woman that's ever been in my life. Yeah. And I'm not sorry about it. Right? I'm not sorry about it.
Sure.
It's some people are like, oh, he's a fucking prick, narcissist prick. No, because it wasn't all on me. Yes, I did my part. So am I sorry that some people hurt? No, I'm sorry that I was hurt and I didn't do anything about it at an earlier age. That's what I'm sorry about. And I don't give a fuck what people think.
You never have, never will.
And anyway, so what I wanted to leave this with for you guys is like, don't overcomplicate shit. You got a wife at home that you truly love and relationship is worth fucking saving. Go home tonight and just brush your hand along her back. Like,
make her feel loved. Make her feel good. Make yourself feel good too, though.
Exactly. But like do something that's out of the norm, because walking home tonight thinking she's gonna fucking recognize that you're different because you listened to this podcast or you went on to listen to YouTube or you went to a counselor today. Right. Like, that doesn't do anything. You have to take an action to it. Right. Maybe just smile at her and tell her, you look beautiful today. Like, just that small thing, if you truly mean it, you're not gonna be getting your fucking dick sucked probably.
Right.
But you can start literally becoming closer to what you want today and then stop living in the pain. Because, when I was talking to Sean Whalen in Cabo and he told me a story about like when he met Sax, and he's like, I went all in for me.
Yes.
I went all in for me.
Yes.
Right. And then it hit me for you, right? I did the same thing. I went all in for me. I realized that you could cheat on me anytime. You could take half my money all the time. You could do whatever the fuck you wanted. You could kill me in my sleep. I can't stop anything you do, but I can do everything that I do every day.
100%. I agree. Yeah.
And when you look at it, you actually hold the keys. Like, I know say that you hold the keys of the kingdom, but you hold the keys to your freedom.
Yeah.
So my takeaway for you guys out here is beating's cheating. The best 13 seconds of your life I give you.
Why is that funny every single time?
I don't know. It's a running joke. And I guess cancel your Pornhub subscription.
Absolutely.
All right. That's it for today's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. We will see you guys next week.